Man, I can't believe I'm auditioning for a Hollywood movie. This is insane.
Come on in.
Hey guys, this is a
Welcome to the set.
This is a weird location for a interview.
It's an audition.
Audition, whatever you want to call this thing.
There you go.
Empty garage.
We
Wow.
actually prefer the term
Oh, and
creativity
you got
house.
lights too. Okay.
Yeah, those are our lights.
I sit here. I assume I sit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just sit there. Yeah.
So do I just start? In a world where monkeys have taken over the
Stop.
Only
What are you
one
doing?
man has the
Stop.
strength, the smarts, and the capability to stop them. This summer, be ready for the battle for the planet of the apes.
What the hell?
Did I do something wrong?
Yeah, where the hell did that come from?
You
Yeah, this is Battle for the Planet.
mean
Apes.
to tell me that you're not doing a remake of Battle for the Planet of the Apes?
Correct.
What the hell? What's the email you sent me? Are you kidding me?
No.
This isn't Battle for the Planet of the Apes?
No, it's not.
You know that's really confusing, right?
Yes.
Battle for the Planet Apes?
Yep.
Like that's borderline a lawsuit. You guys know this, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure you know. So why the hell am I here?
You took a class, remember?
Well, didn't take a class what's named after a monkey for nothing. Whole year. Whole test too. It's kind of crazy.
Crazy.
Well, let's get to it. What do you want to know?
We just have a few questions. Yeah, so first off, what happened to your clothes?
My clothes?
Yes, your clothes.
I mean, I dressed up nice because I thought this was like a real thing.
This is
like
real?
A Hollywood thing. But if it's not a real movie, then
This is a real
okay,
movie?
don't get so defensive. If it's not a Hollywood production movie, then why should I dress up?
You weren't even wearing shoes.
Okay, don't bring my shoes into this. I didn't wear shoes because I couldn't find shoes when I left the house, okay?
How could you not find shoes when you left?
Okay, first off, I don't like your tone, mister. It's not very kind. And second off, can we get out of here? Like,
Why?
I feel like you're gonna kill me at any second now. I mean, more power
No.
to you if you do. Like, wow, great setup, great bait. I mean, whew, Battle for the Planet of the Apes, fantastic. But I'd prefer it if I wasn't in here. That way you have less opportunity to kill me in case you don't like my answers to your questions. Is that okay? Or
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for baiting me in here.
Yeah, anytime.
I hear there's great monetary value for me answering these questions, and yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you in the next location. We down for the bistro or maybe a park. A park would be cool. Maybe all of it. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, I'll see you in the next
yeah.
scene.
Dude.
I
That's-
messed up your chair.
Yeah, that's my chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, what?
Christ Almighty, such psychopaths.
Hey, we can still hear you. The
Battle
mic
for
is
the
on.
Planet Apes.
Dude,
What kind of idiot thinks that's a good idea?
we can still hear you.
Oh. Sorry, was the mic still? My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
I didn't mean it. Idiots. Is this seriously your first scene? Are you kidding? Like, you could have given me any other place and you put me in the middle of a river? Like,
I mean, it is the environment, and this is environmental science.
what do you want from me?
So we're going to start off with stratospheric ozone questions.
Okay. Stratospheric ozone questions? I mean, a bit cringe, but yeah, go ahead.
What is the stratospheric ozone, and why is it important to life on Earth?
Yeah, so the stratospheric ozone it's what's in the sky, obviously. And its chemical compound is O3. It keeps us from getting cancer. That's pretty important. Keeps us from going blind a lot of the time. It blocks the UV rays of the sun, the really dangerous ones.
Next question. What are the anthropogenic causes of stratospheric ozone?
Oh yeah. Aerosol. That's one I get.
Don't die. Don't choke yourself.
Want to know
Okay.
another? Anthropogenic cause of stratospheric ozone.
Why are you acting like Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker?
This bad boy.
That's a fridge.
Keep
Hey.
it cool for miles.
Can you not be part of the problem that we're trying to solve?
No.
Next question. What are the effects of stratospheric ozone depletion?
Yeah, so stratospheric ozone depletion, it just kind of like makes all of life more dangerous. I mean, some of us are like living on the edge. That's just some of us, though, so not everybody. It's not for everybody. But like,
Get to the point.
without the ozone and it being depleted, you can get cancer and you can go blind because the UV rays get more towards you.
I guess.
And the sun becomes more dangerous. And instead of giving life, it's taking life. And nobody likes that.
And I guess you're not wrong, but let's talk about how can the ozone be mitigated? How can we stop ozone depletion?
Okay, first off, that's a big word. You didn't have to say that. Don't know why we're talking like we're scientists here. I took one class.
So you should know it all.
Just remember that. But yeah, so one way we can mitigate it is we can put bans and regulations on CFCs. People don't need whipped cream out of a can. You can just eat it out of a bowl like I do.
I just watched you eat it out of a can.
It's not that hard. And then you can use cleaner fuel sources and maybe put regulations on refrigerators so we don't put stuff into the atmosphere that will destroy the ozone. How about that, huh? How about that, huh?
All right. How about we talk about the greenhouse effect? What are the principal greenhouse gases?
Well, let's see. You got water vapor. That's the worst one. There's a lot of that. It's dangerous. I mean, it's not dangerous, but it doesn't help us. And then you got methane, like, you know, what cows do. Sheesh. And then you got carbon dioxide, what we breathe, what plants inhale, what we exhale. And then you got nitrous oxide. I mean, that kind of sucks. And then you got, I feel like I'm missing one. CFCs. And then you got the ozone. I mean, some people might be like, oh, that's not actually a greenhouse gas. But yeah, it is because it reflects just as much heat back onto the earth as everything else does. All right? All right? Yeah.
Yeah, nicely done. How does water vapor contribute to climate change?
Yeah, so water vapor is basically like every other greenhouse gas. It reflects heat waves back onto the earth, keeps everything warm like all the other greenhouse gases does. But the reason that we talk about water vapor so much more is because there's so much more of it, because there's water everywhere, like 70% of the planet. And so when it evaporates, all the water vapor gets everywhere and it becomes more dangerous.
Okay, I think you have some problems. Sir? JD? JD, you good?
My hat's dirty now.
Yeah? Is it, buddy? Can we get back to the questions?
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Why is the greenhouse effect necessary for life on Earth to exist?
Yeah, so the greenhouse effect is necessary because it keeps everything warm. Like, without the greenhouse effect, Earth wouldn't be livable because it'd be cold. Like this water that you have me sitting in for this scene that's not even funny.
Anyway, next question. What are the global warming potentials comparatively of different greenhouse gases? So, in order to answer this question, we first need to understand what global warming potential is. So, global warming potential, aka GWP, is the potential amount of heat absorbed by a greenhouse gas. The baseline for this is CO2. That's why on this graph we see that CO2 is 1, which means that methane will absorb 28 to 36 times more heat than CO2. We move down, we see nitrous oxide is 30 to 33 times. CFC number 12 is where it gets really big of a jump, and it gets up to 8,500. But even worse than CFC number 12, we see CFC number 23 at 11,700. This is why we need to put regulations on CFCs. Wow, that was like the first coherent answer you've given all day. How does an increase in greenhouse gas cause a cascade effect on sea level rise, spread of disease, and thus changes in population and even movement of populations?
Sorry, nodded off for a second there. That question was so long.
Yeah,
Like-
well, answer it.
The ice caps will melt, and that'll create a bigger sweet spot for disease-carrying animals like mosquitoes to survive because the world will be warmer for longer, you know, like a longer summer season and a lower winter season. So they can populate more and then give us more diseases. And that would end up raising the sea level because as that permafrost melts, it's never been melted, by the way, the water will get higher and that'll threaten coastal ecosystems. You know what that'll do to coastal ecosystems that have been threatened? It'll make them move. The population will move. Do you know what happens when the population moves? They get displaced, and that's sad. And then the beautiful coastal ecosystems that were there before will get destroyed,
I'm worried about you, bro.
and that is not good. Okay?
Jeez, man, okay. I'm sorry for asking.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to shift over to global climate change. First question, what has happened to the Earth's climate from geological history standpoint? And how has that affected the coastal populations?
Yeah, so we've been seeing record high temperatures, like global average, and that causes more violent storms, like I'll destroy coastal ecosystems, and coastal communities, and coastal humans, and that's not good.
How does climate change impact weather patterns and atmospheric circulation patterns, and thus distribution of heat?
Yeah, so the Earth gets warmer, and the wind slows down, and whenever the wind slows down, that means that the water slows down. And so basically, whenever the wind around the Earth is slowing down and the ocean current is slowing down, you know, the one that's supposed to bring hot water to cold places and cold water to hot places, because that's just what happens, because the world is trying to be perfect all the time when it can't be perfect, because its dad doesn't actually love. So,
Take your time, buddy. I know it's a hard one. I think you're going a bit too personal. Take your time. You can do it. You're all right, buddy.
It's a hard one.
Hey, I know we hit the nail on the head.
So,
Whoa, okay. You think it's funny now? He's a psychopath.
So, whenever the warm water doesn't get moved further south, so that it can warm up the South Pole, or get moved further north to warm up the North Pole, then bigger tropical storms and hurricanes build up and destroy coastal environments, because warm water builds to create big storm.
Man, I hadn't even asked that question yet. And you just answered how do the oceanic currents carry heat throughout the world and what happens when they change. Good job, man. You just read my mind. I thought you were a psychopath, but you were just reading my mind, I guess? How does climate change affect the soil's viability and erosion?
Pretty much higher intensity storms, like I've said before, like a billion times, that are brought on by warmer temperatures cause more hard rainfall. And do you know what that more hard rainfall does? Because I just created that term. It makes destroying the soil easier. And you get big slopes like this that I had to slide down and get my pants all muddy for, just because you want to do this stupid scene in this stupid creek/river thing. It's not even funny, okay? That's what warming temperatures does to eroding soil, okay? Because right now my favorite swim trunks are muddy. And so is my hand.
Yeah, we get it. You're upset. How does climate change cause a positive feedback loop that causes more heat to be absorbed by the polar regions?
So, basically, the positive feedback loop that happens whenever the Earth is warming and the ice caps melt is that even though you would think that the cold thing melting would be pretty good, right? Because you don't want cold thing all the time, because cold thing not good all the time. But whenever cold thing melt, it causes less reflection of heat back into the atmosphere, right? So hot sun goes, and hot sun goes off ice and goes in air. And in air causes hot sun to go, and the ice melts. And do you know what happens when the ice melts? The Earth absorbs more heat. And whenever the Earth absorbs more heat, that causes the ice to melt faster because the Earth is hotter. And the ice melts faster. And do you know what happens when the ice melts faster? The polar animals lose their habitat. And they lose their prey. And they lose their will to live, just like me 3 years ago.
You answered a question again. How does climate change impact the polar animals? Good job, dude. You're reading my mind. Is this a thing you do often? All right, what causes ocean warming?
Skeeter.
Not skeeters.
Well, the truth is, I just killed a mosquito. But the other truth is
You're going to jail for the murder thing, by the way.
that whenever the sun hits the Earth, the sun is hot, and hot is warm. And when hot is warm, warm becomes the water, right? Because the sun transfers heat. And as the sun transfers heat to the water warms up. And that's basically why ocean warming happens. But do you know why ocean warming gets worse? It's because us fools, us humans, us anthropogens, cause anthropogenic causes. Like greenhouse gas emission. Oh, God.
That's not God, that's a bike.
He's
Over the
back.
bridge that we're under.
Anyway, Anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions is whenever a car goes and it gets emitted into the air. Or whenever a factory goes bloop, 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 and their gases get emitted into the air. Whenever those gases get emitted into the air, it creates a layer. It builds on the ozone / depletes the ozone, and that causes more boing, boing, boing radiation and bouncing back and forth between the heat and keeping it more trapped and getting the oceans warmer. Do you know what happens when the ocean gets warm? Things die. And so whenever things die, it's because And so whenever things die, it's because the animals can no longer take the heat because they can't handle the kitchen. And so if they can't handle the heat, they have to move. But if they can't move, then they die. Do you know what else happens with the air? The carbon gets into the water, creating carbonic acid. This carbonic acid destroys the shells of crustaceans, like mussels and clams and lobsters and crabs and all those jazzes. And do you know what else it does?
Honestly, I'm just concerned about coral bleaching. Tell me what that is.
It causes coral reef bleaching, and that's a fact. And when the coral reef bleaches, the algae that makes it colorful and beautiful and vibrant goes away. And whenever that goes away, it becomes less attractive for fish to live in, destroying fish houses. And nobody wants to destroy fish houses. Right, person standing above me?
Okay, first off,
Right.
That's creepy. Don't talk to the people walking over the bridge. And second off, what does ocean warming do to marine species?
Yeah, so like I said 3 seconds ago, Skeeter, like I said 3 seconds ago, ocean acidification is whenever carbonic acid gets into the... There's skeeters in the water. Who would have thought about that, huh? Maybe you should have thought about that. If I get malaria because of your stupid scene, you're going to hear from my lawyer.
Yeah, we have no money for you
Probably.
to take, so. What is ocean acidification?
So, as I was saying, ocean acidification is whenever the pH level of the ocean lowers and becomes more acidified because carbonic acid gets into the ocean, and that does the things that I said about 30 seconds ago. So do you really need to hear it again? No, I didn't think so. Now ask smarter questions next time. Checkmate, loser.
That's mean.
I swear to God, if you ask one more question about the ocean and its acid, you're going to be hearing from the chair. Not just me, okay? So, wow, I'm really close to the edge now.
Get this, how does atmospheric CO2 affect ocean acidification?
So, carbonic acid is created whenever carbon from the atmosphere, from the CO2, we talked about that earlier twice. It's whenever that stuff gets absorbed in the ocean, which happens a lot more than you might think, and that carbonic acid does the things that carbonic acid does, like I said, again, in the last 2 questions, which you keep asking about. Stop that, I don't want to hear it anymore.
What do humans do to increase CO2?
Sir, like I said about the chair earlier, if you ask another question about ocean acidification and carbon, I'm going to lose my marbles. But this is a little bit different. I guess it's a little bit different. What humans do, as I said earlier, I'm going to say it again, okay? Okay, listen this time. Listen. Humans start their car and it goes... And that causes more CO2 to go in the atmosphere than anything else. But do you know what else causes that? Factories, creation of goods, creations of materials, burning fossil fuels in those factories for creation. That's what causes it. If we used cleaner sources, this wouldn't be a problem, and you would stop asking questions about this, okay? Okay.
All right, last question. What does ocean acidification do to marine organisms?
Yeah, so basically, as I said again earlier, but you're apparently not listening, ocean acidification can break down the shells of crustaceous creatures like clams and mussels and lobsters and crabs. And whenever their shell gets broken down, they become susceptible to death. And that's not good. Death is not good. Don't die.
Okay, that one might have actually been God. Do you have anything else to add, though?
Yeah. Do you know what I would like to add? I think that this is terrible. We're destroying our planet. But more importantly than we're destroying our planet, you're destroying my hopes and dreams because I I pulled up to this set thinking, you know what? This is going to be fantastic. I'm going to be in the Battle for the Planet of the Apes remake. And do you know what I'm in instead of the Battle for the Planet of the Apes remake? Battle for the Planet Apes. And do you know what's even worse than that? I'm not even getting paid for this. There's no money coming to me, which you told me last night after I agreed to it and signed the contract. This is annoying, right? You told me that I was getting paid. And I thought that I was going to get paid. And instead of getting paid, you're making me lose my mind. Because you asked the same question, and I gave the same answer every time. The whole year. What are you doing? Yeah, take that. You'll learn to mess with me, and you'll learn to not say things about Monkey Movie that you don't mean, okay? And do you know what I have to add at the end of all this? This thing is terrible, and I think it should fuck. Not enough.
Step on that.
The hole now? See, I'm trying to use this now. I can push up. Actually, I'm gonna